Hi, welcome back to class. And we're on module 11 right now. And so this is actually the last chapter of the textbook. And so this week, you will just have to actually work on your paper. And if you need to, you can spread the other things out. So I'm going to give you 2 weeks for the Dropbox assignment. And you have 2 weeks for the quiz as well. If you like, you can go ahead and get this done early and free some time up for yourself. But this week we're on chapter 11, and there's also going to be a short video and reading you can do for a Dropbox assignment, which you can stretch into finals week if you want to. Then there is the chapter 11 quiz, and you're going to post initial discussions into the Dropbox 11 Dropbox. Discussion 11 Dropbox discussion, and finish your paper. And so, in going back here and looking at our work, I will show you what we're doing. So now we're looking towards the future, and if you remember earlier from the class, that's called foresight. When you try to project into what we're going to look forward to for the future. And that's something that we should do all the time. If you look at the field of sociology and social problems, one thing that leaders should be doing and bureaucrats should be doing and administrators is trying to assess and plan what kind of things can go wrong in the future and be ready for them. And I'm sure you remember earlier in the semester, I talked about our failures in this country to financially prepare ourselves for a fiscal problem. And I used economics to show that I had no idea we would have a severe economic shock happen this semester. I'm not surprised, but I really didn't, had no idea what was going to happen. But now we can see the effects of having not prepared economically for a future situation. And so I tell people, as the economy is growing, that's the time when maybe a government should rein taxes in, try to have a little bit more of a cushion and build a safety net for when you have something unexpected happen, a natural disaster, a terrorist attack, or a pandemic. We never can see that kind of thing coming, but we know that eventually it's going to happen. At the worst, you're overprepared, but at the least, you're not prepared at all, and that's kind of where we're sitting right now. And there has been warnings about this. So you can look up different social scientists who talked about forewarnings of our not being significantly prepared for a pandemic. So we're seeing real time happening a failure of our system. And this failure was engineered, it was designed, and there are people who actively worked at cutting back the size of our government, our taxes, and all of our responses to being able to deal with issues. And so the failure to look forward is a failure, and we're seeing the policy failure play out, and it's going to play out in numerous ways. You can use different examples. One thing I will add is that nobody could have been 100% prepared for this, but we could have been more prepared than we are. So no matter who was president or what would happen, there would be some critiques to take place right now. But we are in a current administration, we're in a current discussion, and so we can see this. So looking forward is a big issue with social policy. Solving big problems is a big thing. And so what you're going to do is there is the grand challenges of social work. This is an old assignment I built a couple of years ago. I never actually used it, and I felt this would be a good time to throw this in here. This goes into looking forward at actually dealing with social problems. So what you're going to do is I'll go back to this after because I'll probably lose the D2L page when I hit this button. But you're going to go to, well, first off, you're going to watch this video that gets into the idea of the grand challenges of social work, and that's using real data to try to deal with issues. Then you're going to go to their website, and there'll be a listing of 12 different challenges for social work, and you're going to click on one of these and see some information, and I want you to reflect on what you learned from what you saw there and write a couple of points about this. It's a short half a page paper. This really is to introduce you to another thing you can look at for looking at policy. And then lastly, for this chapter, we have a discussion forum, Module 11 discussion. And so as this loads, so we're going to look at globalization. So it is widely accepted that economic globalization has had a dramatic effect on social welfare systems around the world. Identify the principal feature of globalization and the ways in which they influence the development of social problems and shape potential social policy responses to them. So you're going to try to look globally. I know generally in school we don't do this, but we do live in a global society, as you can see. We things we buy are made in other parts of the world, and there's numerous reasons for that. And second is a question I took from the author. This book was written during the Obama administration. I did change one word in here, so I changed it from Obama to Trump. And so this is a question that was initially designed by the authors to talk about the prior administration. As you know, our book is a little old, but like I said, not much has changed with policy since then, since that book was written. So this question states, the current economic crisis and the projection of large budget deficits, which we're going through, have serious implications for the Trump administration's ability to initiate reforms in the areas of healthcare, Social Security, welfare, and taxes. I want you to select one of these areas and discuss the impact of the crisis and future deficits on the social policy options that may be developed. So we're going to look at how to deal with this problem that we partially created for ourselves. And I'm sure you remember earlier in the class, I spent quite a bit of time explaining how we're building a major budget deficit. And here we go. We have a problem. We have to address it. We have other things we have to manage with our society. And just today I was watching the news, and there's already a standoff with Congress where the majority leader does not want to do any more stimulus because he says he's worried about the deficit right now. So this is having a real-time effect, and so we're going to get current. And I told you before I wasn't going to discuss current issues, but this one's too ripe not to talk about to end the class off with. And so we're going to go there and have a good time with this. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're from. This is a question that has been bugging us for a long time, and it's not unique to right now. And like I said, this very question was written by the author, and this word was replaced with Obama in the last when the book was written. So we're gonna have a current discussion about that. And lastly, I'll show you how to navigate this site that we're going to link to before I log off. And by the way, we do have our papers due next week. So if you want to, I will give you 2 weeks for the quiz, 2 weeks for the grand challenge of the social work. You're still going to have your initial discussion questions posted this week, but it shouldn't take very long to do. And here we go. I'll click on the grand challenge of the social work and show you this site. Here we go. And so this is initiated by the American Academy of Social Work. And so this is active on trying to do things. So here's the 12 challenges. And again, you will go up to the menu, click on the 12 challenges, and pick one of these challenges you want to discuss. And who knows, maybe these are challenges you already discussed in your paper. And you just pick one. I don't know, whatever one we want. Let's go to end homelessness. We can go to a brief description. And read about ending homelessness here. There's a main website you can go to where you go to the website. And this gets you more information. So you're going to click around here and go through the information. Some of these have papers attached to them. Let's see here. So we have this paper on homelessness. And we can go through and do a little bit of reading. You just have to write 1 or 2 paragraphs. The main reason we're doing this is so you can, see the fact that we actually actively deal with this stuff outside of the classroom. So this is not just armchair sociological theory. This is real stuff we're getting into. Have fun with this. Search around a bit. Maybe you'll find a new area of interest you have. But again, this is just an extra resource that you can have going forward. And I will make this due in 2 weeks. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and get in touch with me. Our paper, again, is only going to be 5 pages. It should be very easy for you to do. I'm sure you've written a lot of 12, 13-page papers in class already for other classes. And you get to get a little creative with this. Use your textbook as a resource if you want. You spend a lot of money for it. We spend a lot of time studying the textbook. So go ahead and use it for this class. I've learned in grad school it's really silly to have a textbook and not use it as a reference. So I do encourage you to do that. If you have questions, get in touch with me. If not, you'll hear from me next Wednesday. Thank you.